In this movie, I'd like to review the player settings for Articulate Storyline 2. So I have just a simple file open and I'm going to go up here to the top and double click on player. Let's go in and take a look at some of the settings that you can turn on and off in the player. So this is going to control the look and feel of the skin that the movie sits in. So you can see that I have a dark gray chosen here. I like to keep things kind of neutral. So first of all, up here I can see the current player, so I can go in here and if I have any custom ones saved, I can use those. I can also create my own custom ones up here. This section here is where you can determine the kinds of colors that you want to use, all sorts of settings, such as if I click on this, you can go in here and see that you can choose from different preset themes. I'm using one that's called Slate that I happen to like very much. You can also go in here and change the font, lots of different options that you can change under the custom setting. I'm going to go over here and click on menu, and that's going to take me to the table of contents. Now I only have 2 slides here, but you can do some things here to control the table of contents. Down at the bottom there's a little gear icon. Here you can decide if you have long menu item titles, and a lot of the projects that I work on do have them. Do you want them to wrap to a second or third line? And you can certainly indicate that by checking this box. You can also automatically have it number the entries. So for lesson 1, for example, if you have 13 slides, it's kind of nice for people to be able to see the slide numbers in the table of contents. And instead of you doing it manually, you can turn it on right here. You can also use navigation restriction, and I'll cover that in another movie, but that's indicated here as well. So I'm just leaving mine on free. That allows people to go forward and backward as they need to. If I go back here and click on the features section, here is where you can control if you're adding audio. You certainly want to include a volume bar. You can put other things in here. For example, if you wanted to include a seek bar, if you want to add a logo to brand it a little bit more, if you want to decide if you want the sidebar on the left or the right. I typically leave it on the left because I think that's where most people expect to see it, but you can change that here if you like. Lots of other things that you can explore in here, but those are some of the basic settings that can control the look and feel of your end result. One more thing I want to cover up here under the table of contents. If you've made some changes to slide titles, over here you can change the slide titles when you're on your individual slides. If you look in the table of contents and it doesn't look like it updated it, you can go down here to reset from story. So most of the time, and I just want to point this out, if I cancel here and I go out here and I double click and I change the name of a slide title, when I go back into the player, I would say that 9 times out of 10 it does retain the new name. But if it doesn't, you can come into the menu section. So let me just wait for this to load and I'll click on that little menu button. This button down here at the bottom will reset all from the slide titles. So if there's something that didn't carry over into the table of contents, you can reset all the contents here. It brings in fresh copies of every slide title from your individual slides, and that can help solve some issues there as well. So these are just the basic settings, the basic player settings for Articulate Storyline 2.